It's your boy ConcertViz34, and today I am going to review the show I went to last night, Elton John, here in Hartford, Connecticut, at the XL Center yesterday, September 19th, 2018. Finally crossing off Sir Elton John on the bucket list. I've been trying to see him for years. One of the struggles is he has been based in Vegas for a lot of time. I believe it's Caesar's Palace. And then he does shows. He's been out to, I believe, Allentown, even though he did for this tour. He was out in Maine. I think it was Portland, Maine area. He's been in the kind of random Michigan a couple years ago. But he hasn't been in Connecticut since Bridgeport, Connecticut show at the venue out there, Harbor Yard. And that show, I didn't have money to go see Sir Elton John. I was still establishing myself, and the tickets were expensive. Finally got to go, and I'll give my thoughts here in a moment about the show. Let me introduce you guys to my experiences with Elton John. My first experience of Elton John is Lion King. 1990, I was born. Lion King comes out. He's on that soundtrack, killing it. Little did I know at that time, his boy Bernie Taupin was the writer assisting him, giving him ideas, melody, giving him, a little bit, a couple words, and then Elton goes in another room, starts doing some other joints, comes back, they pass stuff back and forth, and they are a legendary duo. As I've, in the last 5 to 8 years, I've rediscovered Elton John through what is now online streaming. Groove Shark, Spotify, and then actually buying a lot of his catalog. Actually, I own pretty much every Elton John album that's out, greatest hits. I've traded with people. What we used to do is I give people stuff from my library. They give me stuff from their library. So I have pretty much everything he's done, even the B sides of stuff, the 20th anniversary editions of like Yellow Brick Road, whatever they are. I got it. So I have his catalog. And recently, my connection with Elton has been to my running career, especially in the last 4 years or so. I listened to Funeral for a Friend, Love Lies Bleeding on early Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday mornings as I am trying to be motivated to run for the marathons. I have marathon trainings I do on a regular basis. I listen to Rocket Man at the end of my runs. I listen to I'm Still Standing while I'm doing hill training. So that has been my recent connection with Sir Elton John. Before that, I just kind of listened to a lot of his stuff. Recently, the Tumbleweed joint there, that has been something that's intrigued me recently, just listening back to that album. But I love everything. And I wanted to see Elton at least for the last 3 to 4 years, if not longer. And finally, I got to see him. So that's my little synopsis on who I am, how I've recently been tied to Elton John. And now I want to talk about this set, or two sets in an encore, as it's kind of orchestrated on setlist.fm. One thing I'll say is this show starts on time. I was in traffic. There was literally no matter what route I went, there was unexpected traffic I didn't know about, construction, road work, and I ended up getting in while Benny and the Jets is playing the first song of the set. They started at 8:10. Okay, he is not starting at 8:30. He's not letting people drink like a lot of artists do. Where like a Billy Joel, you won't see him come on to 8:45, 9, depending on where you see him. Showtime is at 8, and there's no opener. Sometimes, and other times there are openers for Billy, but it's really like he's coming on. He's coming on early. He's gonna leave. We were out of that son of a gun at 10:40. For the jam bands I go see, the other artists I go see, that was early. But you know what? He played, and that's the other thing about this that I like. He didn't have an hour long or 45-minute set break. He played set one. He walks off stage. They fill the joint up with the little fog or whatever, and he plays set two. He walks off for a little bit, comes back, and he does the encore. More musicians need to do this. I know some of them, they need to take breaks, they need to do whatever, but still, he was prompt, he was quick, he started at 8:10, um, and I do like that. And then let's talk about the highlights for me. Uh, the first highlight is Border Song. This is a song from his self-titled Elton John album. It's a dope song. It's one of those songs where the reason he's on Soul Train, White Dude's on Soul Train, is because of the soul he has in this song. And he I think he added this to the set because Aretha Franklin recently passed, R.I.P. to the Queen of Soul. But Aretha Franklin covered this, and I actually found this out a couple weeks ago after I heard about her passing. Mind you, I'm not an expert on a lot of older artists. I know their hits, and I'm discovering these artists year by year, day by day. You look over to the right of me, I got a bunch of Earth, Wind, and Fire and Stevie vinyls that I listen to nonstop, and some George Clinton that I've recently been getting into. But the point being, Franklin covered this for her Border Song for her album Young, Black, and Gifted 6 months or so after Elton released this Elton John self-titled album. It was album number 2 for him. So he kind of added this in, and I've heard Aretha's because when she passed, that's when I started listening to all this stuff. I'm like, oh, she sang that. And usually the history of this 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s is black people wrote some dope songs and then white people covered it, and those white people were the Beatles and the Stones, etc. It's very rare that you see a song, or that's not a hymn or older like the anthem, where some white dude wrote this song, or Elton and Bernie wrote this song together, and a black artist like, oh, I gotta take that. I gotta cover that. So it just goes to show you that it was almost like a reverse of what typically went on in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, where these black artists were writing songs, white dudes covered it, and then the white dudes made money off it, which is, whatever. But anyway, it was cool that he did that. The next great moment, and one of my favorite moments of the night, Rocket Man. One of my favorite Elton John songs. This was well done. A nice intro with a little spacey feel. The song sounded amazing. It gave me chills beyond any of the chills I got from the other stuff. And then after this, he starts jamming out with his band. A beautiful, I think it was a 16 string guitar. The way it sounded, being a guitar guy, I think it was a 16, or no, not a 16, a 12 string. It was a 12 string guitar. And this shocked me because I go to mostly, I did not record the full show. Jay's Mix Art, Alice Sorts, who just commented, but there's 3 videos I have here on my page where you can check it out. And people have stuff. You look about in John 2018 Farewell Tour, Farewell Yellow Brick Road Tour, you'll see a lot of the stuff is up there. Matt Frazier, this dude Matt Frazier, salute to you, my guy. He's always at the same eclectic shows I'm at, legendary shows, the Dead and Companies, the John Mayers. Those are all these shows I'm trying to go to. But he did a great job with the videos he had, and he was further back than me. But his camera got zoom. Anyway, you can see that online. Just search Elton John 2018, Elton John Hartford 2018. You'll find a bunch of stuff. But anyway, the Rocket Man jam was impressive because a lot of artists, mainstream artists that are legendary like this, they don't jam. And especially at the age Elton is, at the age Billy Joel is, there's not many jams. It's more preset stuff because they're older. Plus, they're not a jam band. They have talented musicians around them, but they're about playing their hits. Sir Elton took time in his set for this tour to have a jam during Rocket Man, and as someone who loves jam bands, this was awesome. The next great moment, Funeral for a Friend, Love Lies Bleeding. To me, this is, I think Rocket Man and Funeral are like the two, it's one, they're both like head to head for my favorite. The reason I love this song is the buildup of the music, the great songwriting and poetic verses of my boy Bernie T, and then Elton closes it out. It goes quiet. I love journey songs where you go through a path, just like Jacob's Ladder from Rush, and a couple other, I mean, I can't think right now of some other ones, but there's many great songs from the 70s where it's a journey, some even some Genesis songs where it's a journey of this song, and it could be 11 minutes, it could be 7 minutes, but it goes through these highs and lows, and it's a story condensed to 10 minutes or so. That's what Funeral Friend is. And this lived up to the hype. You have the fog machines busting out. You have the epic build up. You have the live guitar. This was another great moment. The other one that was also pretty cool is Someone Saved My Life Tonight, which is emotional for Elton because he did contemplate, or I believe attempt suicide. And imagine what would have happened if he, imagine how many people wouldn't be impacted. Imagine the money for foundations and for rights for all and for AIDS research that wouldn't be here if he did that. A powerful song, a song that's so important right now with what's going on with people that are losing battles to addiction and to suicide. And then, so that was another great moment. The first set was dope. Take Me to the Pilot was there. Levon, Candle in the Wind, just to, literally busted out the first set. To me, a lot of my favorite songs were in the first set, but the second set did not disappoint. And you had from Sad Songs, which is song number 17, to song 24, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, things started to pick up. The second half of this set list is to get people dancing, get people going. It's like, hey, this is the last thing. We're going to dance this joint out. And the crowd picked up from Sad Songs, Say So Much, all the way to Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. I mean, boom, he was killing them. Don't let the sun go down, bitches back, I'm still standing, Crocodile Rock, Saturday Nights, all right, for fighting. Boom, he was just busting them out. So it was dope to get that as well. And then he disappears after Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. What a show. I just was overall impressed with, he talked to everyone and he talked about certain songs, but it was very brief. He didn't take 45 minutes, but he really tried to share with the crowd. After every song, he's waving his hands, turning around, really appreciating the fans. And I really love that about this show. Now, one thing that was interesting is the crowd to me was dead. Okay, I am used to going to shows where it's a bunch of older people than me. You got, as far as baby boomers and even Gen Xers. Reason being, behind me, Allman Brothers Band farewell tour, Rush 40 Allman Brothers Band final run at Beacon, Rush 40 the final tour for Rush. You see me right, if you were to look forward, I got a Billy Joel poster, and right next to it I have space for my Elton John poster, which I'm getting ready to frame. So I go to a bunch of old shows. Many fans are not as happy. He's been singing stuff. What? I don't know what he just said. Someone just made a comment. But I go to a bunch of old people shows. Stevie Wonder. I've seen BB King, Buddy Guy. I'm usually the youngest dude there. Someone brings their kids, but I've gone to a lot of high showcase events with an older artist, a legendary artist at hand. And this crowd was probably one of the most deadest as far as the lack of dancing. Now, don't get me wrong. At the front of the first couple rows, salute to whoever paid for those tickets. They were not just spoiled rich people. They was dancing. And even in the lower levels of the 100s of the XL Center, there were people dancing. But right behind us, behind the first couple rows, everyone was pretty much seated until we got to the end of the show, Sad Songs, all the way to Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. A little shocking, but again, Elton is a little more low key than the Billy Joels, who you got. I've seen. Plus, I've seen Billy Joel only at the Garden twice, which is a blessing. Hashtag blessed. But I've only seen him at the Garden, and the Garden's always lit. B plays there every month, and it's always lit. So maybe it was the Connecticut crowd. It was a long day if you had to work like me and many of the people there. People traveling to see this show, the amount of money you had to pay. There were, people are older, so you're gonna have people that just, they're gonna be, they can't dance like they used to. They can't move their joints, their legs, whatever, their back. But the crowd was, many fans. Someone said they're not happy Elton didn't sign stuff. I guess I don't know, but I mean, I just think that ultimately the crowd was a little more dead than I thought it would be. Not because Elton John doesn't have the fan base that is able to sit there more conservatively and enjoy the show, but because this is the last time he's coming to Connecticut. Unless he has a show in Bridgeport. He has shows in 2019 in the states, but I think 2019 is going to be it for the states, barring like a really big show in 2020 or an appearance for like something on special in 2020. But this is really it. So I'm like, why don't you guys like? Why can't we stand up? Like, I didn't want to stand up because people were all around me were sitting. And people next to me were pretty dope. They was dancing, but everyone else was sitting. And I think that's just the culture of Elton John. This is my first Elton John show, so maybe that's how it is. And someone made a point. I was on a fan page of Deadheads, and someone said, "Hey, some people just enjoy music different," which is true. Some shows I don't dance as much. Some shows I'm not moving. But nowadays, man, being 27, I've realized how short life is. Even at 27, I try to enjoy myself. So it's a little interesting, but I think it's just culturally that's the fan base. Um, One thing I would have liked to see is Bernie Taupin. Uh, this dude is amazing. I am a amateur spoken word poet. I don't really write any as much as I used to, but I perform a lot of spoken word poetry. Been doing that for at least about 15 years through high school and college. But I love Bernie's writing. I would have loved to see him on stage. Maybe he has stuff he can't make it out there, but I would have wished to see Bernie and just give him that standing O, because this dude is without Bernie, there is no Elton John as we know him. Elton could have written stuff. He could have been a great singer. He could have covered stuff. Other people could have written for him, but Bernie and Elton, the combination of stuff they have, even the idea Daniel, which he talked about, people know this if you know Elton John. Daniel was about a Vietnam vet, and Elton cut the third verse on purpose. He thought the song was too long and just, but the writing on stuff like Daniel, Indian Sunset, which is dope. They played that song. That is a song that is from, what's that called? Madman Across the Water. Yeah, Madman Across the Water, which is a dope. By the way, that self-titled track. If I could have asked for any other song to be played, that self-titled track about allegedly a dude in an insane asylum or mentally insane. That's a beautiful song, a tragically beautiful song. But anyway, he did songs like Indian Sunset, which were written. Almost, you could argue Indian Sunset's one of the best written Elton John songs. Doesn't get the hype as everything else, but it's a beautiful song about the Native Americans and the struggle and the loss and the ending of what they had here in America due to colonization. It is a beautiful song, and it's dope that thing I'll say is I like how he incorporated All the Girls Love Alice and Take Me to the Pilot and Indian Sunset. These aren't hits per se, but they're songs, deep cuts that he wanted to add to this. Now, the other thing that I do want to just commend Elton on is he really did not force down his last album, Wonderful Crazy Night, or I think that's what it's called. Don't quote me. I haven't listened to it, to be honest. I will get around to listening to it, but bro, I like Elton because of the classic stuff. He didn't force that across. He knew this is his final farewell. I'm playing the hits, a couple deep cuts, in and out, I'm gone. So that was dope. And I think the one thing that I debated is like seeing the stage head on versus being at the side. I think I made the right decision being side stage because I never had seen out and I got to see how he is on stage, see him drink some water, spit into a can, in between stuff. It was cool to see those on stage and the on stage things that go on that you don't see when you're in an arena looking head on. So it was dope to be side stage, literally side stage as you could be. Literally a seat or two over, you couldn't see the screen. I could kind of see, I didn't see fully, but I could see the actual, some stuff on there. So I think I made the right decision, but I wish I could almost go back and go to enjoy the show and see the visuals head on. Like my boy Matt Frazier had in his videos there. So that's the dilemma. I don't regret what I did. I've done Billy Joel behind the stage at MSG, and it's nice to get close to the stage to see how these artists are on stage and see everything. Um, and then the one thing that I hope Sir Elton John makes it through this tour. He's got a lot of shows. He's trying to fulfill the demand. What's happening is a show goes on sale, it sells out, scalpers take it. We already know what Ticketmaster's doing. Thankfully, the XL Center is not Ticketmaster. They are, I believe, Paciolan or yeah, they use Paciolan, yeah. So I was able to get a verified Paciolan fan ticket on the side stage because they don't encourage scalpers to resell because they don't have a secondary. Shout out to Paciolan for being ethical and not selling scalpers tickets like Ticketmaster. Anyway, I'm rambling off too much. But I really think that I hope he makes it because he has a lot of shows. He's going to Madison Square Garden, like he's doing a double victory lap around Madison Square Garden. He's doing Albany, New York. He's doing a lot of shows this year on the East Coast, going overseas, coming back to. I mean, no, he's doing North America for through the winter from now, and then he's going to North America in the spring, and I believe he's going overseas too. He's trying to do this across the world, so I hope he makes it through. This is rigorous. He's been chilling at Caesar's Palace, then doing a hand selection of shows, not in a full tour across the country. So he goes up, boom, Michigan. He literally went to Michigan, boom, he's back. He goes to a couple months later. He goes to Maine. When I was looking for tickets, boom, he comes back to Caesar's or wherever he was in Vegas. So I hope he makes it through this tour. And the sad thing is, even though he's adding so many shows, this isn't just like a one leg tour. He's doing multiple legs. You look on StubHub, you look on whatever, and the tickets are high. It's not StubHub's fault. It's the fact that again, Ticketmaster is handing tickets to scalpers. They're letting them use bots, and the tickets are very expensive. It is his farewell tour. It is Elton freaking John, so you don't expect much less, but it is still get-ins for this show are 150. I paid 140-ish after fees for my side stage tickets, and I was fortunate. I bought a single too, which that's increased my odds. That's why I went by myself. I'm like, the people you try to buy two tickets together for certain stuff now, you're not. They're sold out, but you can find singles. So I really hope that fans get prices drop on the secondary because it's an amazing experience, but it's an expensive experience. It's not Elton's fault. He's expanding. What I've said in other videos. What did I say? I say, look, you need to engage the demand and add multiple shows. Elton's doing two shows. He's going to New York City twice this fall, and then he's going to like the Barclays Center, the Nassau Coliseum, which is like NYCB Live now, and then he's going back to Madison Square Garden. He's trying to fill the demand, but it's the farewell tour. Scalpers are getting all the tickets for the most part at Ticketmaster, so it's tough. But I really hope that some of y'all got tickets, and if not, hopefully the tickets go down to secondary. Maybe new tickets become available now that Ticketmaster's in this scandal. Maybe they cancel the scalper tickets to save face, and true fans actually get them. But it's a great show. I'm already 23 minutes in. This is a freaking TV episode. Add commercials, you're up to 30 minutes, but I tend to ramble. It's your boy Conservist34. Thank you guys for watching. For those of you who are new, what do I do on this page? I talk for long periods of time. I'm a third generation person. My last two generations are preachers. That's why I go forever. But I love sharing my passion. I love giving a perspective of a young man who goes to these shows. You don't see a lot of youngins at these shows that I go to as much. Some people, their parents got them into it. But I'm just open to all types of stuff. You'll see J. Cole next week. You'll see Farm Aid this weekend. I just go to shows. I like a lot of different types of music. I share certain experiences. You'll see 2 or 3 songs I put on video. The rest of the concert, I'm listening, I'm enjoying, I'm engaging with fans. Twitter at Conserviz34. Definitely like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate everyone who comes and listens to me. Even though I go on forever and forever, I do not take it lightly. Even if it's 4 people on right now, I appreciate everyone who's those 4 people. I just like to give perspective that's a little bit unique. I don't know everything. I'm learning a lot about music as I make these videos. Again, if you go over to here, you'll see all my records, which I need to get in a stand. But even in that little dark area, it's all records. those are all my dad's vinyls of soul and funk. I got a couple that are rock, because I listen to a lot of rock music as well, classic rock. And I've, a little bit of pop with Elton John, Billy Joel, piano cats. But I love everything for the most part, as long, except certain modern country and Nickelback. But everything else, I'm open to listening to. But that's it. That's all I got for today. 25 minutes. Woo. Going way too long. But it's your boy ConcertViz34 at ConcertViz34 on Twitter. Definitely like, comment, subscribe. I'm out. Peace.